Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I know while playing cricket, a lot of you guys have got yourselves into a position where it seems almost impossible to fetch runs for your team. You feel almost dead. You struggle, you get into a do or die position where you're provoked to play those highly risky shots and you end up losing wickets. And that is what has to happen. You end up losing wickets. You will end up losing wickets, which again increases the need to play those highly risky lofted shots. Don't worry. If you are one of these people who struggle with this problem, I swear I was one of them, then I have a solution for you. Stay tuned, guys. So guys, my solution is nothing but being able to find the gaps. I believe if you try a lofted shot, you have the chance of getting out. That's a risk. And like I told you, we do not have to take risks. We do not need any more risks once we're in a tough position in the game. So what I suggest you is find the gaps between the fielders and then go for the boundaries. Just make the ball go along the ground from between the fielders. So I'll give you my strategy. I'll give you my little explanation how this finding the gaps works. So guys, let me quickly explain my strategy, right? And let's say there's a fielder placed here and there's another fielder along the boundary line. Have an idea of the approximate distance of fielder 1 from the batsman is shorter than the distance from fielder 2 from the batsman. Alright, so now let us draw another arrow indicating the direction of our shot. For instance, let us suppose we direct the shot in this way. Now I've just drawn it somewhere in the middle of both the fielders because that is what we mean by finding the gap. Alright, now if we have to make sure that the ball reaches the boundary without being caught by the fielders, then we need to keep two things in mind. First thing, is any fielder going to be able to catch it? Second thing, how far it is for the fielders to get that ball. Alright, so now let us look at the distances of that path from the fielder. As we can see from fielder number 1, the distance is very short, and then from fielder number 2, the distance is a bit long. Alright. So now what we learn from this is that when we have to take a shot, we have to increase the displacement of that ball from the fielder. Now when we increase the displacement of the ball from the fielder, then the fielder is going to require more time to go and catch that ball. That is how we make sure the fielder is never going to reach that ball. Alright, and if the fielder never reaches the ball, then the ball goes to the boundary. So all that is well said when it comes only to fielder number 2, which is farther from the batsman. But what about the fielder closer to the batsman? Let's look at that. If the ball has to beat fielder number 2, then that means it should have beaten fielder number 1 in the first place. Alright, so how do we make sure it can beat fielder number 1? The answer is simple, guys. Now when it's time for the ball to beat fielder number 1, ball is roughly going to be in this area. Guys, when we look at that yellow area, we can understand that the ball is in the initial stages of its travel from the batsman onto the field. Alright, so when the ball is in its initial stages of travel, then we obviously know that the ball carries a lot of velocity with it, and when the ball carries a lot of velocity with it, it will be difficult for the first fielder to go and get the ball. So we have to take care of two things here, like I said. Number 1, make sure that the ball beats the first fielder by giving it enough velocity so that it just beats the first fielder. So we have to play the ball very close to the first fielder, but making sure at the same time that it carries enough velocity to beat him. So we have to play it very close to the first fielder, but making sure that it beats him with enough velocity. Now, keeping that rule in mind, let's draw our final and ideal path of the ball. Let's see. The ball just beats the first fielder, so it goes very close to him and then goes straight to the boundary. So now what happens, guys, is that it has beaten the first fielder, and by making sure that we hit the ball close to the first fielder, what we notice is that we have made the ball go much farther from the second fielder. So that's another advantage, guys. So by keeping these 2 points in mind, we can easily find gaps and easily make sure that the ball reaches the boundary through the gaps without having to make any risk, without having to, get into do or die positions. And this is also another way to get out of those do or die or struggling situations in the match. Now I'm going to give you a few examples of how I've played these shots. So here we go. Now I've taken a shot on towards the leg side. So as you can see, guys, the path of the ball I've chosen is very, very close to the first fielder, and it has got enough velocity to beat him. Whereas if you go along the path, I've made sure that it is very, very far from the second fielder, from the fielder who's farther from the batsman. So now let's look at how this shot has been executed. Here we go. That's it, guys. I found a boundary successfully. I've not made any risk by taking a lofted shot. Instead, I've played the ball along the ground. And now you can see the ball is very, very close to the first fielder here. The ball is very, very close. Probably a feet away from the fielder. So that's it, guys. That's how the shot has been executed. I'm gonna give you more examples, more situations where I've played such shots. You can clearly look at my selection of shots. This is a shot where I've played with both the fielders at equal distances from the batsman. So you can notice that I've played it exactly in the middle of both the batsmen. There you go. That's how I've played it. And the same situation, guys, on the leg side by a left-handed batsman. This is an offside, this is a square cut, guys. And again, both the fielders are equally placed from the batsman. So I have to play the shot from between them, exactly in the middle of them. Here I've just chosen to play the ball above the fielders so that they do not have a chance of catching the ball. That cannot be called risky shot either. Now what I've done is the same thing. I've played the shot above the fielder, just above the fielder, so that he cannot reach the ball. This is another square cut, guys. I had to play it very, very careful so that I put the ball between the gap, between those two fielders. This is another square cut, guys. I played it very, very close to the first fielder. It takes a lot of practice, so I suggest you start now so you don't get in trouble again. This is another sweep shot where I've played the ball very close to the first fielder, and I've made it difficult for the second fielder to reach it. This is a very, very rare shot, guys. You can look at it. I've just eased the ball to third man. I've made it go very close to the first fielder in this case, who is none other than the wicket keeper. So I've played it very close to the wicket keeper. I've made sure it just slides from behind the wicket keeper and goes to the third man, and that's where I found the no man's land. That's it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please be sure to check my other videos. Please subscribe, give a like, comment,
and click the bell icon so you never miss another video from me. I keep searching for many cricket video games and many other kinds of video games, so I hope I will be able to post all of them soon. It will be my pleasure to do so. That's it, guys. Cheers.